Hello, today I'm going to be covering over classical conditioning, and this topic comes up in pretty much every Intro to Psych course. And in this video, I'll be covering the discovery of classical conditioning, its equation, and how you can understand and remember this topic for exams and tests. So classical conditioning is the process where a natural response to a stimulus is associated and paired off with a different stimulus. This was founded by a Russian scientist named Ivan Pavlov in 1897. While studying dogs, Pavlov noticed that the dogs were salivating to non-food items and stimulus, such as the researcher's footsteps and their empty food bowl. These stimuluses should not have created a response as they were not food. However, the dogs, through classical conditioning, associated the stimuluses with the presence or the coming of food. Classical conditioning can be summed up with the equation on the right of your screen. In the first line, we have the typical relationship between two things, which is UCS equals UCR, or unconditioned stimulus equals a response. So in Pavlov's case, this would mean food equals a dog to drool. Where classical conditioning comes in is the second line, where the unconditioned stimulus, or food, is paired with a neutral stimulus, such as the bell, and then this equals the unconditioned response. After repeated pairings, the NS, or the neutral stimulus, turns into the CS, or the conditioned stimulus. The bell, which had no prior meaning to the dog, now means food. This results in the conditioned response, or drool. Classical conditioning can be a little bit difficult to understand and memorize. However, there are only 5 portions that you actually really need to know, including conditioned, unconditioned, neutral, stimulus, and response. Alright, so starting off, whenever you hear the word conditioned, you know that this means that it has happened after classical conditioning and someone has changed the response. On the flip side, unconditioned means that it has happened before conditioning and someone has not changed the response. When you hear the word neutral, you know that there is no association between the two things. Stimulus is just anything that is presented, so this can include food, sound, or any physical sensations. And finally, the response is just any action that is being projected after the stimulus is presented. By understanding the basics of classical conditioning and these very simple terms, you know that the response is always after the equal sign, the stimulus is always before the equal sign, the unconditioned always is at the top, and then the conditioned is at the bottom. It is also very important to know that classical conditioning takes place in a wider range of areas, and there are different stimuluses and different responses, and it can happen with people, and it's a lot greater than simply dogs and food. And with that, the video is done for today, so hopefully you enjoyed and learned something, and if you'd like to check out the clip in the description, it is just of The Office, and although fictional, it is a little bit more real-world example of classical conditioning. So good luck on any future tests and exams, and have a great day. Bye!